Before we dive into our game tonight, I just want to go through a little bit of talking about the rules, talking about the system, just to get everyone on the same footing on that regard. Monty Python Medieval Co-curricular Reenactment Program is not a game. It is very serious and should be taken very seriously. And the rules are very strict in that when you want to do something, say what you want to do, and you roll a die. And I roll a die. And whoever rolls higher wins, gets what they want. That's the rule for basically the entire game, for everything. You will see the players tonight will call out the skills that they have, the traits that they have. There are a myriad of traits in this game. Each player gets to have between 3 to 5 of their choosing, depending on the situation, which is like their class that they have and that they have chosen. Merits and demerits are fun. I mean, I prefer demerits. Accumulate enough demerits and they transform into a beshrew-ment. Beshrew-ments are when you've angered the GM enough. There's a random table that I will roll according to the persona I am playing. And something will happen that is, flavored to whoever your GM is. Right now, I am playing. I wanted to do costume changes, but I needed like 18 costumes, and that's just too much. One of them had to be a llama, so that's not going to happen. I am called right now the Good Fairy from Program Control. Each persona for the GM has like a tolerance limit of how many demerits a player can have before incurring my wrath, but also a number of complaint letters that the BBC can receive to fire me. I've decided it was the BBC. But basically, each GM has like a amount of HP, if you will, in the form of complaint letters. Now, how do you please and how do you displease the GM? Well, each of my personas have a list of likes and dislikes. Should I like something that the players are doing, I will wiggle my eyebrows thus. If I dislike what the players are doing, I will frown thus. Those are the only hints that they have at knowing if they're doing well or they're doing poorly. And that's pretty much what your donations can accelerate tonight. With, like Matt said earlier, with your donations for merits, for demerits. Merits are basically, they just cancel demerits. They also buy more dice for checks. But, demerits are more fun. So let's do that. And without further ado, I guess we jump in. As we shift from present day America, or whoever you are in the world, to the only country that matters, England. We go back in time to a time where fantasy didn't exist, where everything was grounded in reality, where people dressed in gray and brown, and everyone just sucked. And we zoom in on this castle, this wonderful castle, built mostly of stones. It is a very silly place. And inside the courtroom is gathered a crowd of nobles and aristocrats from all over the country, waiting for the royal page to announce what is going on. And this little page shows up with like that little page haircut, big long nose, and like these little like poofy shorts with the pantyhose underneath. And he goes and takes a little trumpet and just goes. Ladies and gentle folks of the court, loyal subjects of Camelot, we have gathered you here today 4, 3 eggs, 1 carton of milk, 1 cabbage, and dear God, Nigel, get us something that isn't rotten this time. That's my grocery list. We are gathered here today to welcome the intrepid souls chosen by our very king, Lord of all Britons, slayer of the rabbit of Kerbenog, wielder of the magical Excalibur. And as he keeps droning on the titles of Arthur, time passes. It is now nighttime. And all around good dude, Arthur King. The crowd goes wild. Woo! His Highness is called upon these brave souls to embark on a quest of the utmost important. Here now, without further ado, our heroes. Drumbeat. Her illustriousness, Miss Winifred, Master of Subtlety, Lady of the Stone Council, and Knight of the Depths of Camelot, and Steve. Kit, who do we see walk into the throne room to fanfare and applause?
Well, it's funny that you should ask that, because what walks in is not a person, but a stone golem, life-sized but child-sized, and sitting atop its shoulders is a child, probably like 13, 14, something like that, scrappy street rat-esque, fully asleep because this announcement has taken so long, and she got bored. And so she's sitting on the shoulders, and as this stone golem sort of, clambers into the hall, she sort of like straightens up. What are we doing? Just to the golem, who doesn't talk.
There's a few coughs. Someone going, isn't she a little too young? I mean, at her age, I was already working in the mines. What's she doing here?
Aren't you a little too uppity?
Isn't it past your bedtime?
I don't see you being asked here by the king.
For the folks at home, real quick, who is Miss Winifred?
Who is Miss Winifred? Miss Winifred is nobody. Miss Winifred is, legally speaking, a knave. She is a street rat, a thief, a ne'er-do-well. She's just a little guy,
Thank you. And after you've thoroughly stumped this noble woman, the trumpet resounds again. Here comes Fanny's trumpet, companion to Reginald, wielder of intellectual power, abhorrer of humans, regent of randomness, and enters the throne room, Candace. Would you describe
Fanny's trumpet? Yeah, Fanny comes into the room, very full-bodied femme, heavy bosom, nipped in waist, heavy bottom half, very thick in all the right places, kind of kinky curly hair, kind of cascading down the front of their head, sort of ill-kempt. Some dreadlocks have kind of cropped up in the back that's hidden underneath this colorful piece of fabric. It's probably the brightest thing in the room. They seem to have like a bit of mica on their eyes to make like a little bit of a sparkling effect. Lots of weird, potentially witchy things going on. Dressed very much like a common person. Their bottom half is covered by like a loincloth loose thing with the open sides. And and they clearly have no shame. She kind of strolls in proudly, no corset on, unbound, like unlike other women and femmes in this court. I assume.
There are gasps and
And
2 people faint.
yeah, she blows a kiss and does like a little farmer spit out of the nose as she gets to the top. Does a wave. Oi, hey, I see you. It's nice to see you. Nice to run into. Yeah. Points to a group of very covenly looking women and stands aside with their arms crossed.
And
My
for our viewers at home, can you care to explain a bit, like situations-wise, class-wise, who is Fanny?
Absolutely. Fanny was not born into riches or poorness. Sort of somewhere in an unnamed middle class. She is kind of uncommon in that she had big ideas as a young person about science and nature and the like, and was spurned as a witch. So now she's an eremite, and she lives on her own, adjacent to a bog in a hut with a thatched roof that they built with their own fine hands. She has a companion on her shoulder as well.
Hear whispers of, what is this strange animal?
Don't worry, Reginald. You don't have to
Neither.
answer any questions.
Is it a bear? No, it's clearly a wolf. No, it's an owl, you idiot. Owls don't exist.
They're just jealous because you're so handsome.
The royal page picks up the trumpet again, blows it a few times, and says, and now, Philippa Lascio, cunning linguist, master debater. And who strolls in?
Philippa is she is pretty much the polar opposite of Fanny. She is like petite, well dressed. The corset is extremely tight in order to push up the bosom as much as humanly possible. But, she's everything. She's fully covered for what it's worth, except for where it counts. And, the woman has clearly never worked a day in her life. In fact, she's not even working now because she's got 2 people working for her. One person is carrying a lectern and the other person is drawing a cart with a pipe organ in it.
She's come prepared. There are a few leering gazes from a few of the noblemen, and then a few slaps behind the head from their wives. The Knights of the Round Table seem to be immune to either Fanny's or Philippa's charms. And for the folks at home, who is Philippa?
Philippa is a troubadour who is God's favorite princess and the most interesting girl in the world, and God forbid you tell her otherwise.
I see. And lastly, the page takes up his trumpet again. And now, Henry.
And what you're gonna see is a head poke out from behind like this like darkened area, which is like kind of like the backstage. And then you just hear, "Oh, did 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 they say my name?
Yes,
Did I miss it?
just
Oh,
Henry.
okay. I'm sorry. And Henry is going to immediately start to sprint out. And I imagine that, like, as he does, he gets tripped up over his heavy robes, and he's going to knock into one of those standing candle holders, which will tip over onto like just some curtains. And Henry is going to be panicking, just like, so I'm so sorry, I'm sorry, and he's going to grab like just something close at hand from the wall to try to cover it and stamp it out and stomp on it. And then once it's finally out, he's going to be like, oh, thank goodness. And then he's going to look at it, what he used and it's actually like a pennant of like his religion, and he's gonna be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry," and he'll just smack himself in the face a couple times to be like, I'm sorry, please, I hope that'll make up for it." And then he'll sprint forward, and you'll see like again heavy robes, the mitre hat, and prominently, though he doesn't quite understand the the implications, but one of his items that I would imagine most people would be drawn to visually is an elaborate cod piece. There's something very special about it. I will leave most of it to your imagination, but this is it resembles this. It resembles this. All right, I am sorry. I'm sorry I'm late.
The knights of the round shift uncomfortably in their armor. They're trying to measure their own cod pieces to yours without anyone noticing.
Is I'm sorry. We can carry on. Oh,
Yes, says King Arthur. But before we do carry on, Matt, who's Henry?
Henry is Henry, the middle class monk, uh, who his goal, and I'd like to imagine that before he was sent here, the head of the monastery gave him a very specific order and was like, you make sure that your companions, all of them, get into heaven at any cost. And Henry was like, all right, sure, that shouldn't be too hard, right? We've all been chosen by the king. That should be easy, right? And yeah, he's a monk who, you know, will bear the sins of the party.
A monk with a mitre hat.
Yes, absolutely.
Arthur gets up, dismisses the page, and says, Noble heroes, I have called upon you for a very dangerous and important quest. You see, the holidays are coming, and I have yet to find something for my dear wife, Guinevere, whom I am sort of estranged to at the moment. I trust that you will find something suitable. I have, after all, called only the best of the best, and should your gift fail to impress, well, I will have you beheaded, drowned, quartered, hung, and forced to watch C-SPAN for the rest of their lives. Your lives. Your. Not there. Now go forth and find something she will like. And with that, we cut to outside the castle. The portcullis closes. The voice from within shouts, "And don't come back empty-handed!" That's where our game starts. There's a path downhill from Camelot leading to a quaint little village. Nearby is a man strapped to a post with little signs dangling from his shirt. His arms are pointing in two different directions. He seems to have other sleeves with signs, but none of them are shown because he only has two arms.
Oh, that's a good sign, right?
I mean, I don't think so. If we're looking for something that Guinevere's going to like, none of these signs say Lancelot on it.
What's a Lancelot?
Depends on who you ask. I think if you ask the Queen, it's a man with one use, and it lies between his legs. If you know what I mean. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, eh? You're too young
No.
to understand. One day you'll know. It's too much information for your young ears. Don't worry about it. You though, Henry,
guess
you
I'm
cod
that
piece.
young.
I reckon you
Henry
know what I mean, huh?
Henry is just gonna nod and then lean in to Winnie and say, "When you find out, let me know, please."
I think it has something to do with your duck.
My duck?
I mean, it rhymes with that.
Okay. Okay.
Anyway, I'm not a glorified window shopper. I don't know why I'm here. What do I know, finery?
But if the king chose you and chose us, there must be a good reason. I've got a good feeling about this. And stepping out of character for one moment,
Mhm.
we did get a wonderful donation from High Shelf Rich of $25 for a good thing to
Thank
each player. A
you.
good
Oh,
thing.
yay.
Yay!
One
Thank you,
merit
Rit.
to everyone.
Let's go.
Excellent. Marked.
Which is good because I now have to do this.
Oh no!
Doesn't like when we get merits.
Or when we're happy.
No smiling allowed.
Oh, no. It's not the smiles. Smiles are fine. The smiles are perfect. It's not the smiles.
I don't see any eyebrows about it.
I mean, he enjoys them personally, but as part of his job, he, you know, he likes when people go the distance with smiles.
Miss Lacio, do you have an idea of what we should get?
For the king. I have several ideas for things to. Oh, no, for the queen. No. I mean, yes, but also no. Nothing that she'd know. I suppose the only thing we can do is go looking. He didn't give us any clues or anything whatsoever, did he?
I don't even think
Does he
gave us
even know
pocket
what
money.
she likes?
He did say that they were strange, so that might be a clue.
If any one of you has a trait called lorefulness,
Oh! Yes.
perhaps you can recall things about Guinevere. Now that you're, outside by yourselves, thinking, realizing that Arthur knows her so little that he gave you nothing to go on. You can roll your die.
I got
And
a 9.
you got a 9. I have a 6.
Oh, snap.
And so, Fanny, kind of like you, it seems that Guinevere has shut herself from the world in recent years. You don't know why. You've heard it from Hermit Weekly, the famous magazine. She hasn't gone, full cave mode yet. She's more of a luxury hermit type of thing. She's in a tower with all amenities. But still, she doesn't seem to be the type of person that enjoys the same thing that noble women would.
Oh,
She's,
Queen's got layers.
She actually does.
Like an onion.
Like an onion.
We should get her an onion.
An onion for the queen?
I mean,
Listen, I'm not here to judge.
Boy, I know where to get some onions, says the man that serves as a signpost.
Where? Please,
Uh,
lead the way.
Whoa,
Oh,
whoa, whoa,
well,
whoa, whoa, whoa. What's
I
your
can't.
angle?
I'm just trying to be helpful, you know.
Mm.
He lifts his left arm, and there's a sign that says Camelot, but with a K because it's more medieval. The other one is Camelot with a C. It points to the castle. So you could always go to Samelot.
Oh.
They have shops in Samelot. You'll definitely find onions there.
Likely story.
I mean, it can't hurt.
How much are they paying you for this job? You want to be so helpful? You got
Oh.
insurance?
From time to time, they lift me off the pike that's shoved firmly into my buttocks.
Yeah. Well, you know, if you want to be an hermit, it's a real nice life. You don't got to report to anyone except when you're summoned by the king once in a while to find onions for his lady love. Here's my card. And she hands him like a little piece of slate with chalk writing on it and shoves it into like his front pocket.
Oh, thank you, ma'am. I'm illiterate.
Oh, well, all the more reason to be an hermit then.
What's illiterate?
That means you can't read or write.
Likely story.
All right, I mean, I guess if we got to go shopping, we got to go shopping. I haven't been to the market in forever.
Yes, same here. I've been looking for a crowbar. Speaking of crowbars, Crowbar Creative just gave us a $100 donation.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And by the way, if I am not mistaken, Crowbar Creative are the makers of the Monty Python Medieval Co-curricular Reenactment program.
Wow.
So,
That's
hi, guys.
amazing.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
So then we would transition to our next scene, in which case I'm going to ask you something, and your answer will affect my reaction. How do we transition to the next scene? Can someone take the GMing reins for a second and tell me how the transition is done? Otherwise, we're just jump cutting to you're in the village. Yes, Candace.
I think the jump cut is everybody kind of talking about literacy and the camera just zooming in slowly and steadily on the duck crotch of Henry into the eyeball. And then as it pans back out, it's actually a taxidermied creature in the town square of the Spamalot.
Wow.
That's inspired.
You get no frowning. You
Thank
avoided
you.
the frown.
Okay.
Crotch shots avoid
Spectacular.
frowns. Noted.
Good
Yes.
enough.
Take it.
The king noted that.
You're in this little hamlet. It's about 16 houses made of mud and daub and thatch roofs. There's a couple peasants going about collecting last night's dead and going to just dump them at the cemetery. There is a church, but apparently it burnt down a long time ago. It's just ruins now, overgrown. And for the amount of people that live in this little hamlet, there's an impressive amount of shops. There's like 6 of them. Just scattered around town. There is no town square. They're too poor to afford a square. Everything is sort of rounded.
Well, where there's shops, there's people with money to spend at shops. And where there's dead people, there's no people to spend the money. So I would like, as we're walking, I think Winnie sort of like taps the golem with her foot. You know how you like do a horse? And it slows down a little bit next to the cart of dead that they're bringing out. And she's pickpocketing for coins. He didn't give us milk money to do this shopping.
No,
Okay,
he did
somebody's
not.
got to be an enterprising little knave and make sure that we can afford our onions.
Then I'm gonna need a check for that.
For
See
sure. What
how
kind of check you?
successful are you at lifting pockets?
What can I argue for a check, or would you like?
Well,
to
yeah. If you want to, we'll need a check, is what I meant. But what would you? How do you lift pockets?
I think what Winnie lacks in subtlety, she makes up for in luck. So it's a lot of just like very casually just reaching into a pocket, like not being like trying to like not actually look for anything and just sort of hoping that there's something good where she is going to grab into. She's not being like sneaky. She's not getting into anything. She's not doing any tricks. She's just kind of grabbing and hoping. It seems to work out sometimes. So I would like to roll luck.
You want to roll luck?
would
Then
love to.
please make that roll.
Excellent.
And I just need to find where is my person.
Never rolled a D14 before.
Yes, it is a D14 because this game has only serious dice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The most seriousest.
With a 5 on a D14.
Don't worry about it.
That's not a whole lot, but we'll see.
Don't worry about it.
We'll see.
I get a +1 because I'm on my gargoyle.
That is true.
On that
is
gargoyle
true.
life. Real gargoyle girlies get it.
I figure the people in town are not really paying attention. We'll go with a D12. And they've got a 12.
Oh.
What I've forgotten is that this is my hometown and they know my shenanigans.
Every
Just haven't
time
been
you
home in a
approach a
while.
pocket, every time you get close to someone, you just hear the person go, "Hey, Winifred."
Hey,
Hey, Winifred. Good morning, Winifred.
how's it going?
Beep, beep. They all turn around. They all know you're there. They can all smell you getting close to their pockets.
I think we've been made, Stephen. Sort of slowly trots away, but it's like very loud because it's a stone on stone. Just back up to the group.
While you're trying to make some pocket change, literally, what's everybody else doing?
Window shopping for onions, apparently. What else? What all is here?
Shopping. Then let me just give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here are the shops around town. There is the Grain or Shrine, the McNaughton's Nautical Equipment, the Pig Chops and Polecats, Stiffy's Spiffy Smithy, because of course every town needs to have a smithy, David Cuppersmith's Palindrome Emporium, and lastly, a very new shop in town, opened last week, All Creatures Greated and Small. None of them have enough money to have an actual window to display their wares. I mean, the smithy seems kind of self-explanatory, but everything else, it's just the same little hut with just a sign up front. Anyone you want to hazard entering? And is anyone following?
Fanny goes into All Creatures Greated and Small, considering how much joy Reginald brings to her life.
I will
Perhaps
also.
the queen could use an animal.
I will also frown. But that's not because of what you said, Fanny. It has nothing to do with what you said. I should have frowned before. Okay. All creatures greated and small. is a grocery. They serve a wide variety of meats, from fowl to, bigger birds. Passed through a cheese grater. That is their. They call it a meat grater, but it's.
Yeah, Fanny walks in and then comes out, like covering Reginald's eyes. Nope, 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 nope. We don't need that. Nope. No.
No onions,
no.
I take it?
I don't think. No onions. Lots of layers. Different kind of layers. Not
Ooh.
what we need. Forget it. Oh.
Henry Philippa.
Did you say there's a place called Stiffy's?
There is Stiffy's Spiffy Smithy.
Let's go to Stiffy's.
Yes, I can get a crowbar there, probably.
Oh, probably.
Stiffy's makes rod, staves, scepters, and canes of all kind. They all look somewhat phallic, but the smithy doesn't seem to realize any of it. They're just a rounded tip cane, a rounded tip rod, a rounded tip scepter. Perfect for all occasions.
Oh, he's a man of vision.
Yes. He
Ow.
seems very efficient.
My good lady. Interested in anything? I also do custom orders.
Oh, do you?
Yes. Tailor-made. Like that duck over there.
My duck?
He points to Henry. Henry's codpiece. What are you in the market for?
We're looking for something to please a queen. Do you have
Oh.
anything like that?
To please a queen. There are many queens. I would need some sort of narrowing down of the queen.
Guinevere?
Oh, Queen Guinevere.
Yes.
Ah, very tough woman to please. That I did make her a rod. Ages ago, it seems. She was, married to Arthur for about a year or so, and she came down to the village one night, covered head to toe, trying to be anonymous. She came and she asked. She actually pointed very pointedly at a rod. I still have it, actually. She returned it. Just a moment. He's going to go in the back room.
I
And-
don't think we're supposed to be able to return stuff like that.
Why not? It's just a rod.
Yeah. Yes, Henry, you're just a delight.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it. I don't get compliments very often.
Comes back with a piece of metal. Half of it looks like it was shoved inside a shredder. The other one looks like it was shoved under a hydraulic press. She returned it without a word. She still had the receipt. I had to honor. I had to honor the receipt. That's how it works, right? You don't say no to a queen. Who would I be to say no to a queen? Some sort of peasant, I guess. Which I am, but I'm slightly above everyone else.
Did she say why she wanted it returned?
She
Why
was
didn't
so
please her?
aghast that she didn't say a word. She just threw it down with the receipt. I had to use and destroy my one good glove. So hot and burning it was. Now it's perfectly cold. If you want, do you want to touch? Do you want to lick? Do you want to taste? Do you want to smell? Everything's free, save of if you want to buy it. No. He like shoves the rod or like the remains of whatever that is, like close to all of your faces one by one. Like no.
Did you make
No.
it like that with the tips there?
Oh, yes. Well, I mean, not what it looks like now. What it looks like now is, you know, when you take an orange and you press it in the thingy to make juice. You know what the orange looks like when you're done with it? That's the tip of it now. And he's like, well, of course, I didn't make it this way. I like everything else. Good rounded tips, right? Good, manly rounded tips for support and
Of course.
ergonomy.
Yes.
It seems very safe. To
Oh, they
OSHA
are
compliant.
very safe. I sterilize them in the forge. I mean, it's kind of strange. I only been sterilizing them for, well, after some sort of misadventure with one of my first customers. Apparently, you are to sterilize your rods and scepters and canes. I didn't know that. My cousin over in Canterbury, he makes nails. He never needed to sterilize nails, but apparently I do. So I have it, and now they are all safe. Guarantee.
I appreciate that.
A man who knows their rods.
Yes, of course. I do have a question. When you first presented your rod to the queen, did she like it then?
To be fair, she took a long look at it. She seemed to have been studying it to perhaps imagine what it would be once put to work, you know.
Action.
But she must have been smitten by my rod, for she said nothing and paid me right there and then in gold.
Oh.
I know it's worthless. This entire economy of Samalot is based entirely around eggs and acorns. What am I going to do with gold? I have so much I sleep on it.
Oh, that sounds just awful.
It is.
I do have some acorns if you'd like to arrange a trade of some sort.
Your acorns for my rod.
Sure.
I would need to. I need to look at those acorns, you know, just to make sure they're legit.
Oh, of course.
She'll call over one of the hirelings that she
Overworked
has. Yeah,
minstrel.
one of the overworked hirelings that she has, who has like a bag that he's carrying. She won't even carry a small bag of acorns. This is how spoiled rotten this girl is. So he comes over and he's got the bag of acorns and he holds it out to the smithy to inspect the bag of acorns.
Let me just open the bag and.
Was there anything in particular about the rod that the queen was looking at? Anything that attracted her to that one in particular?
It was long and strong and firm, like all of my rods, scepters, and wands. And I also do wands, by the way. Those are some good quality acorns, just round and plump. One of them even shines a little. I could trade you. I don't know, how much gold do you want to carry?
Oh, we've got a cart as much as you're willing to part with. For some very fine quality acorns.
I mean, it's a steal. You know, lady, I am robbing you blind with this.
Oh, you're a gentleman. Well, maybe you could throw in one of your best rods in addition, so that you aren't robbing us blind.
Sure. My best rod. I've been working on a prototype. An automatic walking rod. It's still a prototype. It only works horizontally, but here. And he's, a few moments later, your cart is just filled with gold. And there's this contraption of, it is a cane, right? It's like a cane with, of course, a rounded tip, and it's attached to like a wheel with a cog and a little lever. And normally, when you're walking, you could just like hold the lever and it would like turn and the cane would just like follow like this. But it's not fully operational, so it only works like this.
Oh, so it's a two-person cane.
He looks at the contraption very puzzled and he's like, how? And the GM is going to do this.
Oh no!
Now, that means you have all reached a point of beshrew unless you burn away your merit. Now, beshrewments can be sometimes good. They can be sometimes bad.
Did you say
If
that
you-
took away our merit?
If you burn away your merit, then you remain at, basically right now you have accumulated 3 demerits. And at 3, something happens. So if you burn your merit, you go down to 2. But if you don't, it's at 3. You get to decide.
And is that per player or just the table?
Oh yeah, of
itself?
course it's per player. I mean, come on, it's a one-shot.
Damn it. I'm going to take that beshrewment.
You are courageous. And because you have chosen to take it up on yourself, do you want to inflict that beshrewment on yourself and roll a d30 for me?
Yeah. Let's
You
do
are
it.
the master of your own fate. Oh. Wait, did we? I don't know who posted that in chat. Did we get a sack the hole?
Oh my gosh! Yes. Oh
All right,
goodness!
so it's
Sorry.
going to be
Get out of here.
beshrewments, and then I'm out.
I have to catch up. Goodness.
All right.
Incredible.
Okay.
One last
Fanny, what did
beshrewment
you
before you
get?
get fired.
I got a 14 for my beshrewment.
14. You are unmouthed. Your mouth flies off your face to have an adventure in a cartoon. It'll come back next scene, although it insists on singing every line for the duration of that scene.
Oh my gosh!
Which, now that I've been sacked, I can tell you this is something that I would have loved.
Oh no! Okay, let me catch up for a moment because we had a donation of $10 from Rin Coco to give player a good merit times 2. We can float those, and
You
also
go, Lin Coco.
yeah, a donation of $50 from Katrina for Sack the Hole.
I am happy to be sacked, Katrina.
Let's go.
But other players, are you burning one of your merits?
I'll burn a merit.
Because those demerits remain, by the way, unless you accept the beshrewment, in which case, Fanny, you do not have any demerits left. All right, so Henry burned a merit.
Mm-hmm.
Philippa,
How many merits do we have starting out?
0. But 1
0.
from Rich,
Okay.
and then I think there's like
Okay.
2 floating.
I'll take the beshroomment.
Do you want to roll it?
Sure. Is that a D30 you said?
It is a D30.
Okay.
By the way, I have not read every beshroomment in the book yet, so I'm
got a
like
10.
discovering some of them.
Ooh.
10 would be the same as Fanny. Do you want it?
Okay.
Do you want to re-roll?
Let's re-roll. Let's see what other zany things there are.
Yes,
Keep it
exploration.
festive. I'm guessing.
I got a 30.
Oh, snap.
I didn't see what you did. In fact, I didn't see the entire scene. I was away at the ballet. So
Were
you got
you?
away with it. And I think that's why I'm getting
Oh!
sacked, right? I abandoned my post.
There you
Oh!
go. God
We
save
caught
the
you slipping.
princess. Absolutely no consequences whatsoever.
Yes.
I love it.
So well, in
Incredible.
that case, other player. Well, no, that's not true. Henry, you were good, but Winifred, what did you want to
Yes.
do?
Beshroom
Bashrumi, D30. Sounds so weird when you say Bashrumi, though.
Screw me, please.
It's yeah.
Do it. Do it. You won't. That was a 5.
5.
You will absolutely beshroom me.
Secretarial striptease. The Secretary
I'm sorry,
of
what?
State. Yeah, secretarial striptease. The Secretary of State enters the scene and performs a burlesque number while delivering a dull, if thoroughly researched, lecture on agriculture subsidies and their effect on Commonwealth relationships, accompanied by soft, breathy jazz music.
Whoa.
Do anyone here has D14 or higher in decorum? Nope. No one is taking
can't-
themselves too
No.
seriously. All right.
What's the rules on subbing luck for things?
It's
Because if that's
for the
the-
context of our game, it's just like for a roll, right? It's not
Okay, so not for
for a
this.
stat. No. So
Okay.
that's good because if you were serious in decorum, you would get a little bit loony and would lose all of your chastity.
Oh.
But in this case,
I don't know what that word means.
no one among you is, taking themselves too seriously, so
Who needs
you're
it?
fine.
Great.
I will then roll for our new GM, N. Who's number 10? Oh, for fuck's sake.
Oh no.
Is it? Is it?
Give me just a second, everyone. I know I'm supposed to GM you all, but I need to research something on the internet for a moment.
Okay.
It's going to take only a moment. Only a moment.
I'm
Oh
concerned.
my gosh.
I'm concerned. I'm shocked. Nay, I'm appalled.
All right. Players, I am about to show you what your new GM looks like.
Okay. Come on.
For the viewers at home, I think that's a penguin.
Yeah, I don't
some
know how a
sort.
penguin sounds. Yeah, it is a penguin. Actually, the BBC brass, in their infinite wisdom, have put in charge of light entertainment a penguin.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So, of course, imagine that the entirety of my GMing is just subtitled, right? I'm just making the sounds the whole time.
Mhm.
Oh, phenomenal.
All right, then. We keep going. Or is
Yeah.
that was the end of our scene, actually? There's now a cart full of gold. The amount of gold that you have on your sheet, by the way, you lost your sacred acorns. You now have an amount of gold that is too much to carry. That's the amount.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
Nice.
And you have the automatic gear activated
Horizontal
horizontal
walking
cane. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Wow.
I think Winnie has stolen this cane and his sitting walking behind the cart and whoever's in front of the cart and just holding it so that it pokes people in the back of the head.
Ouch. Winnie, you
just-
seem to be
just
from
me.
here. do you know a good place to go?
Not
That's
for
true.
onions.
Yeah, I was going to say, Winnie, if you're from here, you know that you can get onions. It's 2 towns over in Onion Town.
Yeah, it's a bit of a trek. We could go, but it'd be all day.
I guess
It would
we're
be a
stuck
trek
here.
worthy of a quest.
It would be.
Hmm.
I mean, we've got, do I know if they take gold over yonder in Onion Town? Because where I'm from, we don't. So
You know
that seems...
that Onion Town has an upper class district.
Ooh.
It's only 2 houses, but it's upper class. You also know that they do have a church, and often enough, churchy people love gold. It's been well established because we are playing a completely historically accurate program, right?
Right.
You also know that Onion Town has a rivalry with the one town that you need to cross in between, which is Cheeseburg. The people there are called
Yeah, those
cheeseburgers.
cheeseburgers do love to pick fights.
Yep. And, you know,
So
Cheeseburg is kind of a smelly town.
if you're into that sort of thing. So we could go to Onion Town. We'd have to go through the cheeseburgers, which is a whole ordeal. But
If that's what the queen wants.
you all said she's many layered. I've never met her.
I haven't met her either, but she seems, I mean, if she was interested in a rod from there, we've got a rod.
Briefly.
Right. We've got a prototype rod that might be perfect for her. But perhaps we can gather many a thing. Many a gift.
It's probably for the best.
Like a gift basket.
Yes. Yes.
Fancy people love gift baskets.
Right. Onions and rod.
Like a rod and 2 onions. What could go wrong?
Exactly. The words from God.
Like that'd be a pretty
when you
satisfying
say
basket,
that,
yeah.
there is a voice that comes out of the clouds with a giant finger that says, "You should move your ass. The GM forgot to say something." Arthur forgot to mention that should you fail to get a gift by the time our session ends, you are all beheaded, quartered, drawn, hung, drowned, set aflame, and forced to watch C-SPAN.
All at once.
I think it's like choose, and it's in order of priority. You get a list. You can just.
All right.
Well, I have no interest in any of that, so we should probably get moving.
Yeah, let's go.
GM, I
Onward.
have a question about my beshrew.
Yes. Ooh,
So is my beshrew that I can't speak until the next scene? Or is it that I have to use a voice like my mouth is in a silly animated series in the current scene that we're in?
Oh my god. I don't know. We're going to switch scene anyway, so your mouth comes back, but they're still in that like whole cartoony world still, if that works. Like choose
Okay.
whichever you want, whichever you're comfortable with, and we will say that that's what it is.
All right.
You make your way under moonlight through the moors between Samalot and Cheeseburg. And it is under an auspicious, cloudy moment that you are beset by bandits. Their voice comes out of nowhere and everywhere at once, you hear, "Oi, you lot! You got a lot of gold. Think it'd be time for you to partake. No, wait. It'd be nice of you to leave some for us. To part.
No, thank you.
I didn't ask, missy." And out of a bush comes a sheep wearing an eye patch. And it just goes, "All right, you lot. You pay up or you die." My accent changes every sentence. What the fuck?
Oh, I thought the Scottish sheep was the joke.
No, he's supposed to have the vernacular of a late 20th century gangster. I can't do that.
I think Fanny like steps up, like
Mhm.
really bold, and tries to like plant themselves in front of this sheep, and it's like, "You better go home all alone, cause I'm a hex girl, and I'm gonna cast a spell on you." And tries to like
So she is
muster
a
up all
witch.
their druidity to like,
Druidry. Good.
yeah.
Then, so, to explain combat. There's no combat in this game. But anytime you face a challenge such as this, you need to succeed on a certain amount of deeds together as a group. You know, it could be like one per player, or it could be, you know, I need X amount. So the first person to attempt a deed is Fanny with Druidry. At the same time, Arthur X, which is the name of my sheep, will also get to do something, I believe. No, he's going to act after you, so you get to go first. My Druidry is not very high.
I rolled a 7, but I have a sheep's bladder, which I feel like in this situation should count for 2 and not just 1, because that sheep should be scared of me because I've got a fucking sheep bladder. I'm not going to use it. I'm just going to show it to him.
No, but
and I
if
get
you
plus
show
1
it to
druid.
him, the sheep lifts his eye patch, looks at your sheep bladder, and goes, "Mama,
Oh.
you killed my mom. You killed my mom."
And that's the way it is.
I'm not fucking messing with her. And he just bleats his way away into the moor, followed by 4 other sheeps that came out of the bush.
Bye, bye, bye. You're welcome.
That was incredible.
The head of light entertainment, however, frowns.
Oh no!
That's okay. It's just a demerit to well, everyone. Just let me know if anyone goes up to 3. Those of you who already took up a shroomment, you were at 0.
The shroomy.
Just give me that roll. D30.
B30. Okay. 15.
Oh, that's a cool one. Roll a D4.
All right.
Oh.
3.
3. Cool. There we go. Friends, we're switching the channel.
Oh snap!
All
And
right.
now, for something completely different. Oh, Henry.
Yes.
You must lower your purpose down to a D4.
Oh, that was my highest thing. Oh
I
no.
Oh,
Oh.
what sort
Um,
of sick twist of the channel of the DVR could have caused this?
Penguin God.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. My name is a penguin, Arthur Penguin. And this is Kinda Hot Takes. And so we're in a studio. It's dark. The seats are all occupied by various types of birds. I'm a penguin. And I will call my guests for tonight. Winifred, Henry, Philippa, and Fanny, all out of medieval England.
Hello.
As you make your way to the set, I'll explain to you the show. I will point to someone and I will ask them a hot, spicy question, something provocative. And before you answer, you have to give me your credentials as to how and why you're able to answer this question. And so my first question will be, my first hot take of the night. Sardines, salted or unsalted? Henry.
All right. So when it comes to sardines, I think that my credentials. I have many historical documents. I have a heap, if you will, of historical documents, in which I believe that sardines come from the ocean where it's salty already, and so it makes sense that they would be salted, right? It makes sense they'd be salted because they
I
already.
cast no judgment on your wrong ideas, Henry, but you do have documents.
Yes.
It's really a bold stance of you to consider the salted sardine to be superior to the unsalted kind.
Yes. I mean it. I must say, when it comes to anything that I have eaten, when I have been blessed by salt, it has been better. I don't get it most of the time. I haven't earned that right.
Enough. I can't with your hot takes.
All right.
Let's just move on to a different. Let's agree to disagree and move on to a different topic.
Okay. All right.
Pigeons, are they real or not? Winifred.
Seen a lot of birds in my days, mister. I'm seeing a lot of birds right now. I've never once seen a pigeon. So given that data, I would have to say no. Pigeons are not real.
Aha. But we do have a pigeon in the audience. And
No, you
like the
don't.
camera pans to an empty seat. And the host just says, see? In their glorious grayish feathers and noble beak and stern gaze, the mighty and noble pigeon. How can you deny that they exist?
I don't see a pigeon.
Nope. And as you say that, someone snapped, changes the channel back. And we're back in England. In historically accurate England. Where everything is gray and brown and it rains all the time and I'm a penguin. You have arrived along with the beginning of a new day, to the borders of the town of Cheeseburg.
All right, get ready for some stink, folks.
All right. I'm ready.
Walls ooze with melted mozzarella.
Winifred just got absolute stink face on. They're so much better. They're cheese.
Two guards atop a gate, well, the gate that gives into Cheeseburg, shout out at you. What? What's your business here?
We're looking for a gift for the Queen.
I
You got
know
any-
no queen.
Queen Guinevere from, Camelot. Your queen?
Oh no, we're a separate political entity here. Cheeseburg is its own the city-state.
Well, you do have an economy, don't
What are you,
you?
like unincorporated?
We're in the process of. Paperwork takes time. Doesn't mean we're not a real independent nation. You know?
Just because your milk is old, you think you're better than everybody else.
Our milk is not old. It is.
It is. It's old and
rotten,
stinky and melty.
as it should. Ma'am, child. Why am I arguing with a child?
Better questions why you're losing an argument to a child.
I will ask you for a roll there.
Do it. Do it. You won't.
Argumentation.
Can I sub in luck? Because I don't
Of
have
course,
that one.
because you want to resist what they're doing to you. And what they're doing to you is, well, basically what would be normally banal blithering. Oh, it's goodness versus purpose. No, it is a purpose roll, not...
Purpose? I don't have that either.
Oh, you can sub for luck if you want.
I ain't got a single purpose on this earth. But to wander around.
Oh,
cause
you have to beat a
problems.
1. You have to beat a 1.
I can certainly try.
And
what
remember,
happens
if
we
you
tie?
if you roll the max amount, you get you get an exploding dice.
Oh
and if you
my
roll
gosh.
a 1, you get a demerit.
Someone donated $200. High Shelf
Ayo.
Rich. Simon, looks like you're going to have a game to GM.
Looks like I have a date.
Yes. Almost at 2.6K.
Yo.
And
that's a 12. So get dunked on, nerd. Your cheese is stinky and you should feel bad too.
You are just as bad as the Black Knight. You should feel ashamed. And he opens the doors.
She just walks in through the gate, just like head tilting back a little.
Back at you. You enter the town of Cheeseburg, and a wave of something that is not fish assails you. And because it's cheese, the GM will frown. But not my persona, just me. I just don't like cheese.
Oh.
But we're going to take a little break, and we're going to come back with our misadventures in Cheeseburg.
Awesome. Y'all, thank y'all so much for being here. Players, y'all have been so wonderful. Simon, you are an incredible head of light entertainment. Everyone who's tuned in, stay tuned during the break. Of course, we will be drawing for the winner of the giveaway, which we'll announce at the end of the break. And also, there's a very special video that David of High Shelf Collective and Simon have made with the creators of the game. So, y'all, stay tuned. It's going to be amazing. but we're going to go on break, so we'll see you in about 10 minutes. Bye!
Everyone, this is David with High Shelf Collective, and tonight we are going to be playing a brand new tabletop RPG that's recently out from Kickstarter, Monty Python's Co-curricular Medieval Reenactment program. Of course, all of this is to help raise money for Elevated Access, our charity for this season, and we will get into that in a minute. But first, we have some special content for you. We recorded an interview earlier today, and like the brilliant producer I am, my microphone was muted for the first several minutes. So here I am kind of fixing that. Joining us today is Brian and Craig from Crowbar Creative, who made the game, and Simon, aka Wandering DM, who's going to be running tonight's game. We're going to rejoin the interview right after I asked Brian and Craig what inspired the game and how did it come to be.
Well, let's see, how far back do you want to go? Craig is my brother, and he's older, a good bit older than me. So some of my earliest memories are him. I mean, he must have been kind of teenager, watching Flying Circus when it used to, run on public access, and a little bit later when I remember MTV did it for a little while. I mean, they would show it late at night, and I would stay up, and I was too young to understand any of it, but I just remember him howling with laughter, and I looked up to him for as an older brother, and so there was something intriguing about it for me. And then later, when I kind of discovered it on my own and could get at least some of the jokes, I fell in love with it too. But so it was really Craig introducing me to Monty Python, and around that same time also introduced me to Dungeons and Dragons. So it was the seeds of this go back a long way. How it eventually became what it is a whole different, longer story. But anyway, Craig.
Yeah, well, to make a game out of Python was really a holy quest for us. Being adept at Dungeons and Dragons for so long, and also hardcore Python fans, it was just a fantastic place to go and let your minds run amok, and which is pretty much what we did, but with a lot of discipline as well to make it accessible for people to game in this universe, and not just lose your marbles.
Well, I think for me, it kind of comes back to some feedback that we got early on, when this was announced and people realized this was going to happen. Not a lot of people, but we heard some people say, I like Python, I like role-playing games, but humoristic role-playing games don't really work. And I wholeheartedly agree with that. There's not much less fun or more uncomfortable than sitting around and having people try to be funny. So, but for us, making a funny game was never the goal. What we wanted to make was something that was authentically Python. And Python, while obviously funny, it's not just jokes. And in fact, a lot of times they eschew typical punchlines and things associated with normal comedy. That was a lot of why their comedy was so kind of groundbreaking. They said, to hell with punchlines, those are dumb. So bringing in elements that make Python, surrealism and anachronism and absurdism and just weirdness, and even challenging bits. I mean, the Undertaker that wants to eat the man's mother, the corpse of his dead mother they brought in. I mean, people were completely appalled by that, and it's kind of intentionally disturbing, so that that's what we wanted to recreate, is just make it feel very Python. And that doesn't just mean everybody sitting around trying to be funny. And in fact, what we tried to do was create a situation in which, or create a system in which the weird and the funny and the absurd and the surreal, those things creep in through the game mechanics. They're not really, the players don't have to do that. They don't have to bring that to it. They don't have to, sit around a table and roll up the silliest character they can and really try to yuck it up and be funny. It works much better, and at least in our experience testing it, if the players kind of approach it as if they're one of Graham Chapman's characters, Brian or Arthur, and those characters, and really the knights in Holy Grail too, those characters take the whole thing very seriously. They don't think this is a big joke. They're here to, and the weird comes in from outside, and it's their reaction to it that is fun. So that was one of the things that was important in the game design, was to try and make sure that people didn't feel obligated to like be funny, just play it straight and the weird stuff will come, if that makes sense.
That's pretty fun.
Absolutely.
I like that.
Well, my answer to that, in addition to being completely in agreement with what Brian is saying, the cornerstone for me and the really important key thing is that the players use their imagination to decide what is next, and not just look at their character sheet and look at their resources or grab a die. And no, what we want is to plunge people into an atmosphere where the most important thing is to stay in character and stay with your partners at the table, and be together. I mean, gaming is social. Let's be together.
Yeah.
And every time you're diving into your character sheet, you've just abandoned your playmates.
I love that. Yeah, we're creating all these campfire moments. We're just like creatively telling stories together, and like that's the real goal here. That's awesome.
Right.
Simon, do you have any like kind of parting questions or thoughts as you've been like poring over the rules and making tonight's game and all that kind of stuff? Do you have
so there's a lot to this game that is just absolutely amazing. But one of the things that I really got hooked on were the various personas you can play as the head of Light Entertainment. And I think this differs from a lot of other RPGs where, yes, the GM will play NPCs in the world, but the GM themselves don't necessarily have a persona. And so for GMs all over the world who are coming into this for the first time, what piece of advice would you give them about playing the different holes?
Well, in my experience, I mean, having just tested it with groups, I've tried it a few different ways where I would take on the persona of the whole and really emote, really act that character out, really use voices and make sure that character's sensibilities are infused with everything that I say and every scene I describe and everything else. But then I've also tried it the other way where it's much more subtle and it's much more giving hints and clues as to what this particular persona likes and doesn't like and frowns upon, just through issuing the merits and demerits. And I've found that both ways actually work. The players that play tested it tuned in to both. So I guess for you, Simon, as you run it, if you don't feel particularly connected to a particular role that you roll or who you decide or whatever, it still works pretty well if you don't have to do a whole bunch of acting, to get that persona across. Just a few nods and somebody, goes to sell something and you say, oh, that's exciting, and hand them a few merits. And they go, oh, this person is into commerce. Okay, got it. Something as subtle as that actually, at least in my experience, it works. It still gets the point across. But obviously if you want to really make a meal of it and act. That's fun too.
My initial idea was to have a costume change for everything, but I don't have a llama costume, so
You'd need 18 of them to be ready for everybody,
Yeah.
including like a llama and a penguin costume,
Yeah.
which would be tricky. So, but yeah, that's something that I think I anyway was kind of concerned about in a way. I didn't know if I mean, Craig and I both thought it was a fun idea and we really wanted to try and make it work. I was a little concerned with, is this going to feel like too much for somebody who's running a game, particularly somebody who doesn't have a lot of experience running games? Is it going to feel like a burden, or an extra thing you have to keep up with? Like, oh wait, who am I? What are my sensibilities? I need to take that in. But I'm curious to see what you think. But in my experience, it's actually it wasn't a huge speed bump and it wasn't a huge burden in running the game. It actually is pretty simple.
Yeah. It kind of brings the GM into the game in a really cool way that's like you don't see in other games, which I'm really excited to see that happen.
Yeah, and of course that persona can get sacked too,
which I love. I love that you can fire the GM.
Yeah, and then and then you, Simon, will have to suddenly make a roll on the directory and see which whole persona takes over. Or if it's, Cardinal Jimenez, you don't make a roll. It's Spanish Inquisition and Cardinal Jimenez takes over. So it definitely adds another layer of things that the GM has to think about. But overall, hopefully the whole program is rules light enough that it doesn't feel like too much. It doesn't overwhelm.
That's awesome. I want to say thank you everyone for making some time this morning to have this like quick conversation. Everyone at home who's been watching, thank you all for being here and joining us for this charity drive, raising funds for elevated access. You're all amazing. Craig, Brian, thank you so much for making this game and like creating this like inspiration for us to include it in the charity drive. I really appreciate everything you guys have done to help make what we're about to do happen. I'm thrilled for the whole thing.
Well, yeah, and I mean, thank you so much for doing this. I'm so glad we learned about this and time to be able to chat with you. Just thanks High Shelf Collective for having us on to talk about it, and elevated access. I've just learned about it, but it sounds like a really cool initiative. So we just appreciate the time and so happy. Thank you, Simon, for being a backer.
Welcome.
And I just so excited I'll be watching right along with everybody else. I'll be in the chat, so I'm excited to see how it all works, and can't wait to kind of see it in action.
For sure. Awesome. Well, everyone at home, we're going to get to the game. Thanks you again.
Bye.
hello. Welcome back, everybody. We are going to be rocking with some more Monty Python action here on High Shelf Collective. But before we jump back into the game, of course, we need to announce a winner of a giveaway. But we'll do that in just one moment because I wanted to give everyone a reminder of the amazing cause that we're raising money for. Elevated Access, a nonprofit organization that enables people to access healthcare by providing access to flights. Whether it's abortion or gender affirming care, Elevated Access is here to ease the burden and provide transportation for folks to receive life saving healthcare. Now, with that in mind, y'all, the winner, y'all, drum roll, baby. The winner of our break giveaway is Crowbar Creative. Oh my
What?
goodness. Crowbar Creative, the creators of the game. Holy crap. Y'all are gonna get the dice-shaped mini pin set from none other than Hanimation, as well as a dice set from RW Dice. Thank you so much for your generous donation, for your support, and for those who haven't won yet, well, stay tuned because there will be another winner at the end of the stream. Thank y'all so much for being here. Y'all have been absolutely incredible. And without any further ado, I hand it back over to our illustrious head of light entertainment, Simon.
My cat did not enjoy that.
Can't imagine he would.
Good evening, everyone. I am still a penguin. We pick back up after a little fade to black that we had on the dangerous, sticky streets of Cheeseburg. Just the runoff from the cheese factory just flows in between the cobblestones that make up most of this street. They do have more money than Samalot. They have cobbled streets. Here and there, houses are holding together through the ingenuity of cheese mortar, really. And a few people are just carrying their carts and their wheelbarrows. The wheels are not cheese wheels, but they are carrying cheese wheels in their carts and wheelbarrows. Everyone gives you the stink eye, which in Cheeseburg is just an eye, but it's understood to be a stink eye. They don't like strangers from hoity-toity kingdoms there, and most of the peasantry lets you know that as you walk past them. The other side of town, the other gate out of town to Onion Town, will lead you through the upper class district and the temple quarters. If you so wish to stop or do anything, I would like to know how do you plan on crossing this vile, cheese-encrusted town?
Might I suggest snottily? Winnie does not enjoy being in Cheeseburg. Winnie has beef with Cheeseburg, which is haha. Winnie is sitting on her little stone golem as it walks, just sort of like very openly and very pointedly carving a little thing like at these people like angrily. And if you look close, you can see that seated in her lap is a tub that reads heart attack margarine. And what she's got is little butter carvings. Could have had butter, could have had perfectly good butter. No, let it get old and gross and stinky. They think they're so better because their milk is old. Just
You
carving
hear a
and
few
sneering at everyone.
muffled, our milk's not old. It's rancid.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. I'm sure she meant nothing by it.
I meant a lot by it.
No.
I'll say it again. Come here.
Perhaps someone might be able to help us get through.
No.
this town.
What the child? Repeat what you just said to me.
What, do your ears not work because you're so old and stinky like your cheese?
I'm 18.
Yeah, that's practically ancient in this time period.
I still have 2 good years left to live. I'll let you know.
You're gonna spend them stinking up the place with cheese.
And you are going to die of lactose intolerance because of your not eating of the cheese. Clearly. None of you from Camelot have any... how would you say that? Have any manners? Really. Even your queen is just too high and mighty for us.
No, I'm
So,
sure.
just
We're representatives of the courts. Perhaps we could lend a good word if you could assist us.
assist you. Why would the noble people of Cheeseburg assist a ragtag group from Samalot?
Well, because we'll die.
What kind of role you want to go with that?
Is there a sad role? Is there just a I'm just so sad, overwhelmingly sad?
What's the poor little meow meow roll?
The roll to be really
for this game?
pathetic.
I guess that would be a valor roll in a
Oh,
way.
uh-oh. Okay. I don't have it, so is that a D4 when I
That
don't
is a
have that?
D4.
That's a 4.
Oh,
All right.
then it explodes. You get to roll again.
Oh yes!
Exploding dice.
That's another 4.
Get dunked on, Cheeseburg.
It keeps going.
That's another 4.
It keeps going.
And
Okay,
a
that's enough.
2. Oh my gosh, 14 total. I'm that sad, baby.
The guy looks at you and just goes, "What a pathetic wretch,
I know.
but so moving."
Thank you.
I apologize for everything I might have said to you. I don't apologize to the child, but to you. Look, if there's anything I can do, I could part with some cheese. Would you like some cheese?
Yes.
I'll
Yes.
show you what you can do with your cheese.
No, please. I would love some cheese. And if there's any way that you could guide us through, we're trying to get to Onion Town. If you could guide us there, that would be much appreciated.
Well, you keep going through town, you'll just cross a whole lot of less, say, reasonable people. I know of a shortcut to Onion Town, but
That would be great.
it is rather dangerous, and I know you don't want to die. So,
You know what? If we fail, we will die. So, bring it on.
well, in the east portion of town, it's we call it Old Cheeseburg.
Cheeseburg.
Yes, it used to be called Philly, but that was silly. There is a secret smuggling tunnel from the old days. It sits in the basement of the house that is too dangerous to live. There's like lightning. There wasn't any cloud earlier, but there's lightning.
Oh. I believe I've heard of this house. There was a monk at the monastery by the name of Fafa Fred. Speaking of Fafa Fred, they just donated $10 to the cause. Thank you so much, Fafa Fred. But this monk told me. But I think we don't have a choice. We'll have to brave it.
I heard secret tunnel. I'm back in.
Yes.
Secret tunnel.
Through the mountain, yeah.
It's just the smugglers dug too deep.
Too deep for you, maybe.
Too deep. All right. Thank you so much for your
I can
assistance.
guide you to the house if I am not setting foot in the house, but I can guide you to it.
That would be great. Thank you so much. I appreciate your help.
Then follow me this way. And he will bring you through winding back streets where villains and knaves of all kinds trade in illegal cheeses. There's a person on a street corner who just sees you go by, goes, "Psst, hey, kid, you want cheese? I got goat, I got blue, I got secret Karsu Marsu."
You want butter?
I don't care for butter. What is this? What is this?
You see how you sound? You see how you sound with your cheese?
I was being perfectly reasonable. You know what? Screw you.
You know,
Be careful, Winnie. Some of these secret dealers are no Gouda.
I will frown, but not because of this pun, but because of something else.
Oh, yes.
I cannot freaking believe it.
So, who's at how many demerits right now?
I think I'm at 0 now because I took a beshroomment.
You took a beshroomment, yeah.
Same.
So everyone gets 1.
All right.
And yeah, he brings you to the house that is too dangerous to live. It's a charming little cottage, really. 2 floors, 2 stories. Sturdy masonry, not made out of cheese. Well lit, couple of good windows all around. It's got a cute little chimney in the back. There's a bit of smoke coming out. The tile roof is impeccable. The house just has no door. And the closer you get to the house, the more scared your guide is, your erstwhile guide, and you just I think that's far enough that I will help you. You know, you should just.
Can I ask what's so scary about this house?
Ma'am, don't you look at it? Look at it.
I'm
It is
looking.
a thing of nightmare.
Right.
Is it haunted?
Well, Fanny, you have lawfulness.
Mm-hmm.
Can you give me another roll, lore from this? Blah, 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 roll. You know what I meant.
That's a
No,
14
jeez.
plus 5 is 9. And do I have any additions?
No, it's okay. I rolled a 1 again.
Oh yeah!
Yes, the dice.
Huzzah!
Let's go.
What the hell is that die roller good for?
For us, apparently.
Yeah.
You've heard of haunted houses before, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you also have heard of a rarer class of haunted house, a house that has like a soul of its own, like a certain malevolence. And those are the houses that are too dangerous to live. It's not that they're too dangerous to live in. They're just too dangerous to let live. They have their own sort of wicked ways of feeding on the people that cross their threshold.
I see. Well, you guys sure you want to go in there? You might not come out.
I don't think we'll get in. Where's the door?
Oh, what I meant by there is no door is that there's like an entrance, but the door it doesn't exist.
Oh, I thought you meant there just like straight up wasn't a like a wasn't a hole in the wall
Sorry,
to get in
no.
to the thing. All right.
Door's gone. You can come in and out however you want.
But he's just like staring at the wrong wall, fully. Just like at the side of the house, like how are we supposed to get in this?
Who
Fanny
called
just
out to
yells,
the house?
"Oi, house! What are you doing? Do you know Guinevere?"
The house begins to stir, move from side to side, and rotate on itself.
Oh,
The
there's
little
door.
stone arches above the windows kind of arc. There was a puff of smoke that comes out of the chimney, and a waft of hot air comes out of the front entrance. Seems that you've angered it somehow. You don't speak house. It's a rather difficult language to speak. Not a whole lot of teachers out there. But it feels angry.
Oh, excuse me. Sir or madam or mix house. We are but humble travelers trying to find a gift for our regent's lady love. Could you point us in the right direction, or perhaps tell us what a lovely thing like you would want for a gift? Not saying she's an old house, but she might as well be.
What kind of role would you think that is?
I feel like I'm making a good argument for this house to not be mad at me.
Okay.
So I would like to use argumentation.
Go ahead, make your roll.
Yes.
Oh no. That's a hot 3. Oh no, I rolled a 14. Thank God. It's a 16. 2 seconds. Gosh. Ooh, that's terrible. Oh my God, no. Okay, so I rolled my 1d14, but I actually needed to roll a 1d16. And then when I rolled the 16, I got a 16.
Well,
Okay. And do I need to give you my total, or did you roll
no,
something very
because
different?
the house is very much indifferent to talking.
Really?
Your arguments would have worked against anyone, and you are met by stone cold indifference. By a cold stone house.
I think I look over at Freddie and I'm like, Winifred, this might be Steve's big moment. That house has a lot of stone. East stone. Maybe you work it out between yourselves.
Just sort of like slow glance down at Steve. Yeah, he's not much of a talker. I guess this guy isn't either. Just sort of like gives the golem a look like, meh?
It looks at you like eagerly, like it's expecting something.
You don't need my permission. You can talk. You can talk to the house if you want to.
If he goes after the house, that will activate his ability. So I want to make
Yeah.
sure that you want to do it.
Okay. No, I feel like that makes sense. Well, I guess we'll both die if we don't, figure this out. So I think Winnie, for the first time that y'all have ever seen, hops off of this golem and is now actually 4 feet tall. Just kid height. Just sort of looks at Steven, gives him a pat on the shoulder, gives him a salute. Go get him,
And
kid.
Stephen rushes inside the house. You hear clanking, you hear breaking, you hear smashing. The house itself seems to be in great pain, and from time to time there's just dust that comes falling off the walls and the roof. And eventually Steve pops out of the chimney. Just his back and his head. He's got his little gargoyle wings. And he just takes the house and flies it away, slaying the monster instantly.
Wow!
I think that's how they make apartments.
Left of the house are just foundations with a nice little old trapdoor. It says "not for smuggling" on it.
Likely story.
Well, we're not smuggling, so we can go through, right?
I mean, if you want to follow the rules.
Oh, through a trapdoor? Okay, but someone's going to have to help me get my cart down there.
All right.
Is that what your guys are for?
Yes, but it might be a little more complicated. If we had something to lubricate the trapdoor, it might be a little easier to fit the pipe organ down there. Too bad we don't have anything of that sort.
Oh. Winnie.
I got butter. You want some butter? Just sort of opens the coat. And there's just, because in addition to the tub of little critters carved with margarine, I also have just a whole slew of something called Wizzo butter.
It's premium butter.
Butter on that organ.
Just super, yeah.
Lubricate.
You want me to?
Yeah, let's lubricate my organ a little bit, please.
Would you like me to butter your? You can butter your own organ, actually.
Please, I never butter my own organ.
Just sort of passing butter out to everybody.
The two overworked minstrels, they get the cue and they walk up to you. It's going to cost you 4 sticks of butter. And with great love and care, they just slather the entire organ in butter. Every last inch of it is now just oily and slippery.
Wonder how it plays.
Well, someone would need to play it. The two minstrels are just, they don't know how to play it. We're just carrying things around. We're internship. We don't.
Oh yes, they're not allowed to touch it. They're just allowed to move it around.
And lube it.
And lube it.
And they'll go first. Takes them about an hour. Because it's an organ. It's an actual fucking organ. But they get it down. One of them does break one of his lumbars. But I figure Philippa, you have given them some sort of insurance.
Sure.
And after a gruesome hour and some change, the lot of you, because I don't remember how many you are, walk
One less
down
without Steven.
It hurts. Remember
Aw.
It's a little
when I
sad, but
said
it's
that you
kind
have
of beautiful.
sacrificed a lot. Yeah.
It's kind of beautiful if you think about it.
Yeah.
Hey, flew into the sunset.
Exactly. We're gonna get a lovely apartment complex sometime next year in this area. Too bad it's in fucking Cheeseburg.
It lowers
Things
the
we do
property value.
Things we do for real estate.
Yeah. The tunnel is fairly straightforward. You walk for a while, and after some time, the pungent scent of smell of cheese sort of goes away. It's still clinging to your clothes, like you're still going to smell kind of like you fell in a fondue thing, but you know, with a lot of scrubbing, it might go away. And I mean, if you were to go to Rome, being covered in cheese is absolutely something that they enjoy. Make your way out of the trapdoor, and in the distance, on a lovely little group of hills with rolling fieldstones and little copses of trees, is a tiny village, circular, with like an outer layer of houses and then several inner layers of houses. And fields, as far as the eye can see, of little green sprouts. What would you like to do?
Shall we enter?
Let's enter.
People of Onion Town are not mean and misanthropist, I guess. Yeah, as the people of Cheeseburg. They don't have walls. They don't need walls. It's going to take forever for anyone to get to, the center of town anyway. They greet you with smiles, with waves, and how do you do's? There are several shops in town, most of them specializing in onion-related things. There's a store that sells wedding onion rings. There's another one that specializes in like flower onions. It's like bouquets of onions chopped like flowers. They have 2 theaters, only playing tragedies though. Just bloomin' onions. Thank you, EJ. Everyone's happy, but everyone's eyes are red and watery. It smells.
Mhm.
And so at some point, a farmer, a young woman farmer, she's like bringing her gear, like hose and shovels and whatnot, to her field. So she sort of crosses your path as you're entering town. She says, "Oh, strangers, welcome to Onion Town. Make yourselves at home."
Thank you. Such a warm, rich welcome. Speaking of rich, we just got a donation from High Shelf Rich of $100, and we're past the halfway mark. Oh my goodness! Thank you so much. You're wonderful.
Thank you. Yeah, no. We believe here in Onion Town that, everyone should be welcome. Not like the people from Cheeseburg. All that to say, if you need anything, my house is the third on the left. You can just feel free to help yourself.
Oh.
Say
We do-
less.
Yes, we're looking for the finest onions. 2 of the finest onions.
Oh, you're speaking my language.
Great.
Because I happen to be, and she gets like a handkerchief out of her skirt. It's like embroidered, and it's first class, like onions. I happen to be the 3-year in a row winning first class onions. My onions are out of this world.
Oh.
They're big and round and just firm enough.
A nice handful.
Oh, I'd say more than a handful.
Oh,
You just want to bite into them,
I understand.
Anywho, I have them in my home. I mean, it just so happens that I'm growing into next year's batch. So if you want to help yourselves, can I ask, who's it for? Who's the lucky person in your life that's gonna get onions? I'm trying real hard out of game to be excited for onions.
Winifred is slowly backing away towards where she's indicated this house is. Like, this sounds fake. This sounds too good to be true. It sounds like we're about to get in trouble. I'm kidding. Slowly walking away.
It's for the Queen Guinevere.
Oh my, the Queen of Camelot. She wants my onions.
Yes.
Wow, I didn't know that my reputation preceded me all the way to the castle. Of course, anything for Her Highness. Of course. Just go into my larder and help yourselves. My onions are yours for the taking.
Wonderful. Our luck has really turned around.
Yes, it has. This person seems, as an aside here, this person seems extremely eager for us to go into their house.
Yes,
A little too eager.
we have to get the onions. The rich, bountiful onions
For free.
Mm-hmm.
for the queen.
Yes. Now I need to go back to work. Toodaloo.
Creeping up to the house incredibly suspiciously, trying to be sneaky, failing likely.
Depends. Do you want to roll for it?
I would love to roll for it.
Give me what you said sneakily and all that. I figure you want what? Nimbleness, subtlety.
We could go a lot of ways with this. I feel like subtle. I feel like I would be remiss if I didn't call it subtle. Let me see. Which I'm not great at. So we'll see. No, I'm not good at it. That's a 1. That is a 1. It is
so that's
+2 because of a couple of accoutrements.
But that is still a demerit. It's going to be a demerit for you. It doesn't mean that you necessarily fail. I need to roll. For most of the people in town, you are invisible. And you hear when you approach the house French mumbling.
Oh no. Not the French.
I heard that. Because I rolled a 14. Whoever is sneaking around in this place, show yourselves. I am legally allowed to be in this house. Sounded kind of German.
So am I. If I was, which I'm not, in the house.
Then you should vacate the premises, whoever you are, and leave me to my onion looting.
Can't vacate what you're not in.
It's called the premises. Just bloody go away. Do any one of you have as a skill, as a trait? Because none of you are nobles. But if you have, I would say probably like D10 and above in decorum, valor, or purpose.
I had it until I got knocked down by God, by Penguin God.
If none of you have that rating, I will tell you that the voice sounds eerily familiar. Can't quite put your finger on it, but it is a voice that you have heard before, not during this session, but like it's a popular voice that you've heard around Camelot. Now leave me. Clearly, if you are to get the onions, you're gonna have to deal with the French, whatever Frenchman is inside. Also, I frown at the lack of fish, the lack of mention of fish. So I'm gonna frown. You're all gonna get another demerit before we enter this new scene.
Beshrew me.
Oh,
I'll stand.
I will beshrew you with pleasure. Benny, do you want to roll? D30? As I furiously scroll.
I could stand to be shrewd.
20.
20. Okay, I will keep yours for after. If anyone else wants to be beshrewed, Candace's beshrewment is special.
Ooh.
And I'm going to keep it for last.
I'll
Okay.
take some shrewdment.
Oh no.
All right, Kit,
It's
D30.
appropriate given that role. That I get a little shrewd. That's an 8.
8. Fish slapping dance. 2 pilchards and 1 large trout falls from the sky and land at your feet. You and a fellow PC of your choice must participate in the fish slapping dance. If you don't know the precise steps, surely you can glean enough from the title to improvise. The pilchard wielder goes first, and the slappee suffers 1 bit of loony and resets their authority to D4. The other person, so the trout wielder, will suffer 1 bit of death and reset their hardiness to D4. So who is your dancing partner
I feel
among the other players?
like, honestly, because I feel like he would enjoy it. I think Henry needs to get in on this. This fish slapping. Also, because it mentions fish, have we made the penguin happy?
Technically no, because it's part of the beshrewment. I mentioned fish. I'm gifting you fish for you to use, because clearly that's how the game is supposed to work.
And I'm gonna make it everyone's problem.
Yeah, exactly. So are you the person that slaps first?
I am. I would like to wield a trout, if I may.
Okay.
Is that acceptable?
So then,
I believe I slap second.
yeah. So Henry will slap you. So you will suffer 1 bit of loony.
Excellent.
You get just a little sillier. And if you have any authority, it goes down to D4.
Yes, me, the 11-year-old.
Yeah, I know.
With all of my preteen authority. No, I am legally speaking daft.
For all intents and purposes, we understand that this is not child endangerment or child violence for the purposes of what we're doing.
No.
All right? It's all in good fun.
Yes.
I did not take
the
death.
priest slaps a minor.
I think I just got fish slapped.
You got fish slapped.
Henry, when he does the initial slap, it's like, okay, this is tradition, right? But then when it connects, he's just like, Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
And when
then
he just backhands him with far more
Oh.
power than like a child should have.
I deserve that. Thank you.
Henry, you're gonna take one bit of death. So your death goes closer to I don't know what stage you were at,
I was at fine.
and now you are at.
Getting better?
It goes left to
Okay.
right.
Yes, fine.
It
to
makes
getting
sense.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And by the way, you would reset your heartiness to a D4.
All right. Oh, okay. Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else has Beshrumans except for Fanny? Anyone else wanting to get fish slap?
Come on, get in
No?
on this. It's
All right.
tradition.
You will never believe what's happening.
Oh no.
I can say
Mhm.
with certainty, if you're all on the Roll20, that this is something you would not have expected. Spanish fucking Inquisition.
Oh no!
God damn it, not again.
Thank you, Candice. I am now Cardinal Jimenez,
Oh my god.
and I take over as GM of this game.
Best Beshruman.
Yeah.
Be careful.
Just got inquisited.
I am ruthless. So, we're back in our scene. You still need to go inside the house of this farmer, get the onions. It is currently occupied by some sort of well-known Frenchman.
Can I keep the fish? Point of order.
Yeah, sure.
Or did... Okay.
Actually, if you want to keep it,
Only
it
for a
counts as
moment.
an accoutrement if you want to keep it.
Well, that's fine because I've lost one of my accoutrements, so I need another one.
Cool. What skill does it go under?
Luck.
Cool. It's a lucky fish. It gives you a +1 to luck. But also, because it is a fish made for fighting and dancing, it gives you a +1 to valor and a +1 to bardistry.
So
Wow.
what happens if I'm indifferent to something that I have a plus in? It just doesn't
You
affect
just
me
don't
to
give
the
a shit
outside.
about it.
Okay.
I'm good at this, I guess.
Yeah. Excellent.
Actual footage of Kit talking about how good they are at TTRPGs.
Right.
Hey now.
So, what's going on? What do you do?
Shall we enter?
I imbue the scene with surprise, fear, and surprise.
How do you do that?
I think by walking right in and addressing this Frenchman. What
Then
kind
in
of
that
language are you
case-
speaking? I can't
then in
understand
that
anything you're
case-
saying.
I will do this, Candice,
Yes.
and you get a merit.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'll follow directly behind and brandish